Well, first I want to say thank you to everybody who's on today, and then those who will be watching it later. Thank you for tuning in at a time that is more convenient for you to be able to get this information. And just for me, I'm a people person. It's why I've chosen to be in this field for so many years. I love people. I love spending time with people. We were chatting a little bit as we were getting ready about, that's what I love about travel too, which has been hampered quite a bit lately. So it's been really tough for me because not getting to connect with all of you on a daily basis, at least seeing you in the office or when I get to go out and meet with folks. Recently, we had the opportunity to go up to our San Jose office, obviously with social distancing and the, masks and all the right things that we need to do, spend some time up there with that team and some of the supported individuals up there. And so I certainly hope we have some folks from our San Jose region on today as well. It is obviously I guess the best way to say it is a weird time, right? And for me, I want to express from my heart just my tremendous gratitude to all of you for the amazing, amazing work you're doing. While it's been very challenging, it's been basically an unwelcome change in our lives, an unwelcome intruder, if you will. What it has also done is highlighted how amazing and how, I believe, right on point Jay Nolan's mission and our philosophy and our person-centered practice. We have been able to, do what we do, stay focused individually, because that's what we do anyway. And many, many other organizations are challenged with different things that we just aren't challenged with because their approach and their design is different. Doesn't make them bad or wrong or anything. It just really does highlight how critically important person-centered and individualized is just the right way to do things. And it's been highlighted by our company's health as an organization. And it's been highlighted by, that services are still being provided. People are still going forward in their pursuit of happiness. And so that has everything to do with great work by all of you and the personal great work of individuals in their own lives. So I wanted to say thank you for that. And just kind of highlight a little bit about the environment. We are what's considered an essential business. And I know many of you know that, but just want to highlight that. So as these changes happen, as we open up more or things roll back a little bit out of concern and care, it doesn't change what we do, except for it changes maybe what we can do in the community when we want to go out and be amongst other people. So we continue to practice the social distancing and all of the other recommendations by our health officials. We have, as I mentioned in many of the videos, tremendous amount of the personal protective equipment, whatever you might need. Supervisors, making sure you're checking in with your team members. Let your supervisors know what you need, and we're developing a system to get that out to you as quickly as possible. One of the other things is training. It's critical. It's very, very important. It's why we're, one of the many reasons why we're successful. And so I want to just emphasize we really, really got to keep doing that. And we're offering all of that online now. We've brought on which is already an employee, but we've also repurposed a Spanish-speaking trainer, so we're really excited about that. So you'll see more of that coming. But 100% of what we're doing in your office team, your support team, is to support you. And so all the services are still available to support you. Any questions you have, even if we're remote, everything is available to you via the phone, internet, like this, or text, anything, however you want to connect. We will be in contact with you. I wanted to answer one of the questions that came up is, will the Jane Nolan offices reopen? And the answer is a yes, but it's a qualified yes, as we're going to be very, very prudent in how we do that. So right now the office is open for staff that need to come in, and we have a specialized schedule around that. Jocelyn and Mariella are managing that so that we just kind of minimize the crowdedness of the office. So, obviously that was one of our fun things about working together, but we've really got to keep that space and just minimize the opportunities for exposure and some of those negative things. So yes, the office will eventually reopen, but right now, if you need to engage us, do it via the internet or phone. That's the best way, and as of right now, the safest way. One of the other questions I got was, and on this time, are we hiring? And yes, we are. My first and foremost priority, and the priority of the team, is to obviously find other avenues for folks who've been displaced. And we know that some of you, some employees, are not being able to work in the circles they were in, or in family support, not being able to directly support the individual that they were working with before, based on individual choices. Again, individualized. But we are working hard and diligently to plug you into other places, because we want you back to work. We want you to be able to provide the services that you are trained and well equipped and experienced to provide, because that is the juice of Jay Nolan, is you guys making the mission real in people's lives. So yes, we're hiring because sometimes there's matches that need to be made. And so one of the questions was from a supported individual is, can candidates come and interview in my home? And the reality is, it's your home. So without a doubt, the choice is up to you. How we do that together is really, really important. And so I would say, connecting with your circle and the supervisor with there and the director, and schedule that in such a way that either, it can maybe be done outside, or with a safety barrier and distance, masks, all those important things. And I don't see why we can't figure out a way to do that makes you comfortable, that makes that candidate comfortable, and moves that process forward. We're doing a lot of interviews via this same format, video conference, so we can do that as well. So those are some great questions kind of on the environment that we're operating in. We're being very creative and very flexible. We found a lot out about ourselves and how some of us were, like, oh, I'm kind of technologically averse. I don't want to do stepping right in and jumping in and being successful in how we're using technology. So big thumbs up to those that felt themselves to be, technologically averse, that are being very successful in it. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to really learn about what we can do in creative ways that we may not have tried before. And so that's one of the positive outcomes as well. I think, one of the things I want to share is just what you're doing, and for other people to hear it, some just neat stories we call from the front lines. We've shared a few on social media, but I just want to highlight, as I mentioned, I think back in April, Sherry, who, took it as this stay-at-home order means, okay, then I'm getting to work, and sewed over 250 masks. Her and her support staff did that together. That's amazing to me. And that's just awesome. And that's the mission, right? Is how can I be of service to others? How can I engage my community? Another really cool recent story is James, James, who works actually in Simi Valley and lives in the Valley, the San Fernando Valley. And he just been working hard to stay active and enjoy the time, but said, I want to get back to work. I want to get back to doing what I enjoy doing, and engaged his circle and his support team, both in the supported living and in supported employment, because he has support in both departments, and figured out a way to get back to work. And so he's back there doing what he does and does it well. And the Home Depot out there is super happy to have him back. Because they're a busy, company right now, all the different locations. What's that? Oh, it's Rite Aid. I'm sorry. I said Home Depot. Sorry, Rite Aid. But Home Depots are busy too, but Rite Aids are, obviously an essential business, and keeping their shelves stocked. And most all of us are busy hitting the Rite Aids and the Walgreens and, all of those, the CVSs. So it's great to have him back at work, and he feels good about it. And again, it's your own individual pursuit of happiness. Those things are what, when I get to hear about them and share the stories, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good about the work we're doing. It makes me feel good that the community is a better place because we're engaging it. And so I just want to thank the support staff with both of those individuals for being awesome and being flexible and being committed to their individual and the pursuit that they have. Another one I got to highlight, because I get a lot of emails and just encouraging stuff from, is is Grant and one of his support team, JP. They're putting out so much love in the world on a regular basis. If you are on TikTok, by the way, at all, you got to follow Grant. He's got I think it's like 2,000 followers. It's amazing. And he is just going to sharing a message of just equality, encouragement, care and compassion. It's a really awesome thing. And this is, again, his way of engaging the community. He's, a very big health nut. He hikes, engages nature, and he invites people to join him in that through videos on TikTok. He's making an impact, and he's helping other people kind of have a brighter point in their day sometimes when they're feeling down about the challenges and some of the things we feel we've lost. And that's what it's about. It's about engaging. It's about leaving this planet a better place for having been there. And that's what I think we all want. Let me give you kind of shift gears and give you some updates and then I'll take a break there after this update and see if there's some questions that we've gotten in the meantime. But I wanted to give you some updates about our state. So obviously the environment that we operate in, both financially and culturally, is California. And California culturally is a very progressive state with regard to equality, integration, and just a community that's welcoming. And so that, I'm grateful for. Financially, it's been a significant challenge, as you guys probably figured out with all that you're hearing, as our budget. And so about the beginning of May, after kind of a lot of this had come to pass and our state was ready to deal with passing a budget. And the way that happens is the governor releases his initial budget in January, and everybody takes a look at it, takes it apart, looks at what, how does it affect you? How does it affect me? And the legislature then takes their part, has their committee hearings, and begins to work on that. Then the governor provides what's called a May revise before the votes start. And the May revise, not to put too fine a point on it, was frightening and scary in a lot of ways. And one of those ways was it said that over the next 18 months, the state is looking at a $58 billion, that's with a B, $58 billion deficit. And then so that May revise had a lot of things in it to try to deal with that. And one of those was some pretty significant cuts in our arena. And we had spent, many, many years already, but the last probably 2 years really, really strongly advocating for what was needed in our space. Last year, the a rate study was done, completed. It was a 3-year study and said that our arena was $1.8 billion, that'd be dollars, underfunded. So we were like, wait a minute, how can you take this study, look at it, see that we're already underfunded by almost $2 billion, and then look to make cuts there? We had forged a lot of great relationships with our elected officials. I spent a lot of time in Sacramento, sitting across from committee chairs, committee members in the budget committees, both on the Senate and Assembly side. Sat in our own local here in Santa Clarita, Christy Smith's office, and just really, emphasized the point of how this is not okay. And many listened. Assemblyman Nazarian, Senator Stern, even the speakers, both houses, and they came forward and said, no, Governor, we're going to give you a different version that we want you to see. And they took out pretty much all of the cuts in our arena, which was stunning, and provided different mechanisms for dealing with the budget deficits, and put it in different places that we could consider as a state less essential. And it passed very robustly and was signed. So it was huge, huge news for us going into this next year. We were preparing for it as an organization, but as an arena, it was a really great to be heard, to be taken seriously, and to be responded to. The accountability was fantastic. Everything to do with all of the advocacy, not only as organizations, but you as individuals have been doing. And so they heard us loud and clear. So that sets us in a much, much better space going forward in the midst of all of this, because it's not like there isn't going to be challenges. But having had that taken off the table was a lot of breathing room. Marina, I want to take a break because I've been talking a lot, and I want to make sure that maybe I take a break there, and then I'll talk a little bit more about us directly and see if we've got some questions that have come up.
All right. I haven't received any questions so far. Everybody who's attending, please feel free to type your questions into the chat box. Also, if you are calling in, perhaps if you have a question, you could just ask because you don't have the option of the chat. Let me unmute those people and see if, does anybody who has called in have any questions for Edward?
Maybe I'm just really good at answering the ones you had in your mind when I was talking. All right. Well, if there aren't any, or if you think of them, we'll stop again. No worries. But I want to talk. I'll keep going then and talk and use our time together as well as I can. So let's move now, kind of toward home, if you will. And so we talked a bit about the state situation, and they're doing a phenomenal job up there of trying to maintain everything in the midst of all of this. I know there's been some changes also federally with regard to additional unemployment insurance, additional benefits for folks being furloughed or on leave. So we'll be addressing all that more individually with each employee as those things come to play for you. But as an organization, I want to tell you we are very healthy. We have a very solid balance sheet. We have been very, very diligent throughout all of this. I'm glad that actually we've been very, very focused and diligent prior to this happening to really get our financial house in order. And not that we did before, but really, really focused on areas where we can get maximum value for the dollars that we spend. As a nonprofit, that's a responsibility of mine, and I'm a steward. And I'm a steward of the resources of all of our state, systems, because we're funded by state tax dollars. That's where it comes from. So I'm a good steward of that. And so doing, we're really looking at the vendors that we use, the technology, and how we can very efficiently spend the dollars that we spend so that it meets mission, and it's efficient. And we've been doing that for the last 18 months. That I've been here really, really well as a team. Your leadership team is absolutely committed to saying, how do we spend our money missionally? And everything we do is through the lens of Nolan's mission. If it doesn't fit our mission, then we don't do it. Or if it doesn't fit our mission, we modify it so that it does. And so we've done that with our insurance carriers, our telecom, just all the different things that you may not think about that we have to spend money on. That we make them meet our mission. And so this past year with the absentee billing, or what they also call retainer payments, what that has been is when COVID hit, there oftentimes we could not provide services in the way that we had done, either by individual choice or different impacts. We've been able to bill for those services based on a running 12-month average that Department of Disability Services has authorized the regional centers to pay. So we've been able to, if a better way to say it, we've been able to stay whole. We've been able to maintain and retain you, our amazing staff, because if they didn't do that, it was going to be a monumental disaster for all of the agencies that provide services throughout the state. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's about 350,000 individuals with autism or developmental disabilities that are supported through the regional centers in the state of California. That is a large group of people. For me, in my mind, I'm always thinking about that's a great voting block to get our elected officials to pay good attention to. So that's good advocacy efforts, as you see, has resulted in great things. But what that is, that's coming to an end. And August 31st, they will change gears, if you will, and no longer be able to make payment on services not provided, and which has been obviously very awesome for us up to this point. And that's the first 2 months, July and August are the first 2 months of our fiscal year. So it's at least so many of you should be hearing, and if you haven't, if you're a displaced worker, you're not presently active in being able to provide support, I would suggest you reach out to your supervisor if they haven't already, to have those discussions about where else can we plug you in and use the experience and the training and the compassion that you have to support others that have need, because we do have those openings in a lot of places. Simultaneously, we have a lot of resources that we can bring to bear for when we can't do that. And so we're having those conversations now over the last of this July and into August about what we're going to do, shifting gears and how we're going to support you guys as employees. For those of you that are actively working, keep doing it. Keep staying the course. If we had another person that could come into this circle, it would really relieve a lot of pressure. Please share your creative ideas. That's what makes us great, is the collectiveness of us. But I want you to know we have reserves as an organization. We have been diligent about that. And so we're preparing for kind of what the rest of this year is going to look like as different things related to COVID pop up. And just met with the board this past Tuesday. Had our, what would be the end of last fiscal year kind of meeting, and showed them, where we've been, where we're going, and how we're going to, accomplish that. So the board is very comfortable with where we're going as an organization. And so I want you guys to know that as an organization, we're going forward well. Everybody who is, being supported by Jay Nolan, you will continue to be supported by Jay Nolan, because part of being that steward that I am is that I not only have to make sure we're doing the deal today, but that we're keeping the promise that we'll be doing it the next 45 years and the next 45 years after that. It's interesting that our 45th year happened in this weirdness, right? But it really highlighted that we're right. We're right on how we do things. We're right on how we prioritize people. I keep emphasizing that almost in every meeting I'm in. So I know it's probably getting a little bit overkill for some folks, but I believe it. I'm committed to it. Looking forward, some of the things that we're doing, we are really making a strong push in the social media arena. We have had our team who's been doing that already in the past up to their eyeballs and busy, right? As much as they have on their plates trying to do this. So managing social media is a very different thing than participating in it. And our moderator, Marina, and Lisa Fisher, our director of quality assurance and over fundraising, have been very, very diligent in that. We've brought on our social media rep, an intern, who's also our interpreter today, and really hammering on pushing out more original content, curated content for informational purposes, as well as just keeping everybody up to speed and up to date on what's going on. And there we got multiple channels. If you don't already follow us, like us, engage with us on those channels, please do. A lot of great information is available to you there, and it keeps you up to date. I'm very, very cutting edge on up to date of what we're doing. And so we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and those different mechanisms work, different for different people. So whatever one you're comfortable with, you engage the most, definitely like us there. But I would suggest on all of them, because different things come out different ways for you. But I think it's fun and it's informative, and we're being purposeful about it. So make sure you're liking us and following us there. And if you can also even engage with us and give feedback and suggestions that way, which of course we welcome and want. It's how we get better. And it's also where you'll find information like our online bingo every Friday. If you haven't already engaged, man, get online and join us for bingo. I had the privilege of being the bingo caller a couple of times. It was a lot of fun. But now we've got Hunter. He's running the show and doing the bingo calling, doing a great job. I popped in the other day. It was really cool. And also yoga for health and de-stress and connectivity again. And we do that on Wednesdays. And we alternate both of those events. We alternate each week, because they're weekly. One is a morning, and then the next week will be an afternoon, and then a morning and then an afternoon. I think it's like 9 and 2, something like that. But again, check those those channels for the information on it to make sure you get the right times and stuff. Great stuff. Be on the lookout. Our wellness committee, not only obviously putting out information from for our yoga, they've got a lot of information for you on safety, on self-care, and just updates on this environment that we're in. And so I highly recommend you follow us on our social media channels. Check in with our safety corner on our website. And you'll continue to see videos from me, but there's a lot more information than even what I can give you in these short videos. That's kind of what I want to make sure I covered, but I also want to make sure I'm answering any questions. I know we got a few ahead of time and we answered those, but if we've got some more in the chat right now, I want to make sure I address those.
I don't see any questions from the chat. Everybody, you are welcome to type them in. Let's see. Yeah, as far as I could see, I might give it a minute or so. If anybody wants to ask something, this is your chance.
Well, in the meantime, I like to ask, how are you guys doing? Are we communicating enough with you? The videos, if you are following us on social media, are you getting the information you feel you need?
See, I'm just gonna unmute people who called in just so they have a chance to communicate. Let's see.
I'm looking at the screen and seeing so many folks that I'm so excited that are here. See Grace, Mariella, Vicky, one of our board members, is on. Everybody, that's awesome. Just great to see so many people. Thank you.
We have a question from one of our participants.
Okay.
The question is, if they want something added to our social media, featured on there, who is the right person to contact?
Oh, so if you want to offer up some information or something that you would like to see out on social media, that would actually be right now would be our social media intern. So she is, if you write this down, NAMEY@jnolan.org. In fact, if you could put that in the chat, Marina, that would be awesome. And of course, if you've also seen other emails, you see that Marina's address is in there as well. She's easily another vehicle with which to pass on information that you'd like to see on social media as well. Great question. Because yes, we would love to get more content. Stories from the front lines are awesome. In fact, that's one of the things we're working on. James's story was out just this last week, which was really cool. And we're working on a couple more. And because so much awesome stuff is going on, I know we're getting just pounded and overwhelmed with the stuff that does concern us and scare us and frustrate us. And there's a lot of that out there, I know. But I want you to hear from one another just amazing stuff that's happening. Our supported employment team is still going strong. In fact, other organizations that have that service, that provide supported employment, many of them are like, we're just not doing anything right now. And I'm like, but the need hasn't changed. The need hasn't gone away. Just the environment we're operating in has. And our supported employment team was like, yeah, that's exactly how we see it. And they made 2 job placements in the last 3 weeks. 2 people have started new jobs supported by our supported employment team. And we even have a couple more that are, is her address Noel A or N Amey?
It's N Amey. I had to look it up. Apologies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want you to stand in the wrong place and then everybody's like, she doesn't talk back. Yeah, so it's NAMEY at jnolan.org. Anyway, our supported employment team has been diligent about it. And we are even also repurposing and having some new opportunities for folks right here at J. Nolan through them as well. And I want you to know, I don't know how all of you know how broad a reach J. Nolan has, but we are all the way out in Ridgecrest, which is Kern County, and even kind of starting to explore and creep toward even farther north into Kern County as we have dialogues with Kern Regional Center. We're all throughout Antelope Valley. Patty Ventura is our supervisor up there, and George covering the Antelope Valley. Todd and Jason are out in covering Ridgecrest. And then, obviously, well aware of all throughout Los Angeles. And that Antelope Valley comes down into Santa Clarita. A lot of folks in Santa Clarita, down into Los Angeles, from the San Fernando Valley all the way down to San Pedro, and out west as well, and then all the way east into San Gabriel. We're really serving a lot of people, and you are the ones doing that. And then, of course, we have multiple counties in Northern California that we support from our San Jose office. And whereas, out towards Gilroy and Watsonville, we're in San Jose, Santa Clara. It's pretty impressive. And I'm just, again, abundantly proud of the work that we're doing. So I wanted you to have a picture that the J. Nolan community is very, very large. Any other questions? I don't want to keep talking and not let them have a chance.
I don't see any more. Yeah, just anybody who's called in, any questions from you guys?
Let's see. I popped up the chat on mine. Whoop. I guess not. My chat went away. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't see any other questions. But oh, hold on. There's one more here. Here's just a reminder that the recruitment team, J. Nolan, is working on a virtual job fair. Is that something that you could talk about, Edward?
Yes, that's awesome. Yes, our recruiting team, we have two recruiters, Christina and Brenda. They are working on, they're actually participating in several virtual job fairs, some with USC, some with the county, a lot of different ones. But then also we're in the planning stages as we're going to host our own virtual job fair, partner with some folks as well. And that's targeted to be in October. That's kind of a really, that September, October timeframe is a real pickup timeframe. But we've hosted our own physically before and had great turnout and great opportunities right on our Mission Hills site. And so they're just going to kind of pivot that to a virtual one and engage those same partners. So we're looking forward to that. If you've got interest in, again, like if you've had hours reduced, and maybe you supported 2 people and only one right now is receiving services that you're supporting, let Brenda and Christina know, and your supervisor know, look, I'm open to more time. I want to engage more. I'd rather be working and engaging than not. So we'll work hard to find that. You're the priority. With all of the openings, the people who are currently our employees that don't have positions are our priority to fill with that. But, it's also a fit thing or a location thing. Obviously, if you're in Ridgecrest and the opening's in Los Angeles, that's not going to work.
Awesome. All right. Well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. So I think we are pretty well set to wrap it up. Do you have any?
Oh, yeah, I know we went over a little bit, and I apologize for that. I'm a talkative guy. But again, I wanted to just maximize this time with all of you. Tremendous gratitude to Marina for being our moderator today, for Noel for being our interpreter. And again, my tremendous gratitude to all of you. I hope that you get from, my videos and the, emails that I write. If you aren't getting our Monday morning quote, make sure you're in the matrix system with your email to get that. I send out just kind of an encouraging quote each Monday. What I hope you're getting from that is how I see my role. As the executive director, my job is to serve you. That's the point of this. And I want to be able to do that to the best of my ability so that you are equipped to be able to make the mission real. And that's the whole point. That's why we're here. I've talked a lot about know your why. Know why you do what you do, because it's powerful. The why I do what I do is because I care about people. And that means the individuals we support and the ones doing that. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Edward. And thank you everyone who has joined us today. We'll be sending out this recording later on, probably next week. So keep an eye out for that in case you want to share it with anybody else who couldn't make it. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend.